Ladies and gentlemen, I thought I was being a good soldier, for this is a Fred Daily Productions podcast.
Good soldiers follow orders. And my order is a large Big Mac meal with extra mayonnaise, please.
Cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about! We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc. Father, are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Look, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Kendall Richardson.
And I am ready to go, Michael Lister.
And you are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yes, experiencing it for the mediums of going through the interwebs, including a mistake of going to more than one Facebook page, and it's too late to rectify that.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
joys of technology at
I
work.
hate it.
Great stuff. Well, we are the podcast that refuses to behave, so
Yes.
we do like to live up to that name. As you can see, obviously, Fulia is not here this
Aw.
week. Sadly,
Very
sadly,
sad.
she could not. Yes, schedule did not allow for her to be with us. But as you know, if you're a listener or watcher of our show, you will know that that does not mean she won't be present in the program, the broadcast. I almost said broadcast. Like that's wrong English.
Proden.
Prod.
The Proden experience.
Proden experience. Anyway, so I'll kick things off for us by reading out Fulia and her epic weekly watching. Says this paragraph is insane. It should be published. All right, here we go. All right. Fulia says, and the streak ends with all of us being on the podcast together. Sad face.
Like she knew something.
Sorry, friends. It's like she knew something. Sorry, friends. While I'm out doing the hockey thing, here is what I have been watching this past week. Death and Other Details has finished its first season, and the twist at the end kinda threw me for a loop. The real murderer, although I almost didn't see it coming, made so much sense. As the narrator recommends at the beginning of the show, pay close attention. The one thing I did not do very well. Oh, bless. Now that the season is over, I recommend you two watch it, and anyone else who is a murder mystery fan. Very good recommendation from Fulia. Nice. She goes on to then say, I've also casually been watching more episodes of One Piece. I've hit triple digits, people. I'm now on episode 108. 10% complete. Woo! I'm never going to catch up, she says in parentheses.
Would you ever call yourself a fan? 100
No.
episodes in? Not even
Yes.
close.
Not even close. Oh, amazing. You know what else I saw this past week? I went out to the theater and watched Rent the Musical.
Ah.
Yes. To be honest, this show was never really on my theater radar until I watched Tick Tick Boom on Netflix. I really enjoyed it, and yes, I cried in Act 2. If you know, you know. Congrats to the Rent cast and crew for a great season in Melbourne. Yes, I second that. Congrats. They were freaking fantastic. Yeah, very, very cool. And one last thing from me, she says, before we hand it over to Michael. I started playing a game that might as well be a movie, and that's Yakuza 0. I was browsing through the PS Store in the JRPG curated section, and the Yakuza series is in there. Some of them are on sale for like $6, and I was curious. Ended up watching a playthrough of the first hour of the game, and I was convinced. I'm glad the game has a skip cutscene option because, man, are the cutscenes long. I'm liking Yakuza 0 so far, and I'm in the middle of Chapter 2. Good story. Good story for a game that was released back in 2015. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Takes a bow.
Your
Great,
Fred
Julia.
talk.
Your Fred Talk. Hey.
Come on, get on brand, yeah.
Get on brand. Get on brand. Love it. That was awesome, Fulia.
Yes.
Some fantastic things you've been checking out this week. That's awesome. The game to boot. I love it. Nice. Well, that means it's now Michael's turn. Michael, what have you been watching?
Well, what have I been watching? Well, I still haven't gone back to Last of Us Part 2 because I had a couple of days off, so I've been really doing a lot of housework, a lot of meaningful housework. So just listening to a lot of podcasts, as well as what I'm about to tell you. I'm almost finished listening to Dune for the second time because this week I watched Dune 2 and I watched David Lynch's Dune right after, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. You get like different things from different interpretations and different styles. And yeah, I'm all Dune this week, I reckon.
Love it.
Yeah, all Dune. Or June.
June.
Do you say June or Dune? So yeah,
Dune.
I really enjoyed Dune. And did I watch it? Yes. It was worth the wait, and I am more than happy to wait for the third one. I mean, David Amoun, who did Dune, said, "Oh yeah, the third one's on the cards. It's just I want to do something else as well, which is only fair because his storytelling is phenomenal, and." Yeah, he's actually writing at this present time. So maybe in 2030 will we get the next one. Which is only fair because the next book is Dune Messiah, which takes place like 12 years after the original book. So yeah, so might be taking the kids this time.
You might.
Yeah. As well as that, I've actually finished watching The Bear season 2. Yeah.
And?
It ended on a cliffhanger. or all the characters are sort of in a bad state at the end. Spoilers. But I'm more than happy and waiting for season 3 to see what's the outcome. Yeah. And that, and the last episode is like anxiety induced as it always does, and heartbreaking with their mum.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, it's such a bizarre show. It's I don't know why. It's like people wanted to be having that anxiety attack like each time. And yeah, I think my favorite one was probably the Christmas episode, because that just is a farce in itself, and all the sort of guest star cameos is great. So so yeah, that's basically it. Just Dune all the way, as well as The Bear. So I'm watching Bear and Sandworm. What about you, Kendall?
Nice. What about me? Oh, excuse me, must clear throat. Well, I'm not going to segue because I want to talk about the thing you just talked about last.
The Bear.
But the Bear. No. I already finished The Bear.
Dune, you mean?
I meant Dune, yes.
Yes.
No, I want to start off by talking about two other movies first, because I have now officially seen all 10 Best Picture nominations, all 10 Best Picture nominees.
Yeah.
Yes, I took myself to the movies and I watched The Zone of Interest. Um, and holy shit. Um, this is a movie that everyone needs to watch. This is a movie that should be shown in schools. Like it's super important and intense and oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, probably like I can say I don't want to like, say well, I don't know what the phrase I'm searching for is, but anyway, basically there was a quote from Steven Spielberg where he said recently that The Zone of Interest is the best Holocaust movie he's seen since his own, which he means obviously Schindler's List, and I would agree with that statement because I've I've seen a lot of um, film and TV to do with the Holocaust because it's just a weird, morbid curiosity of mine. That part of that whole part of World War Two is just, it's the horror of it is just fascinating to me. And it's so terrible that we as a human race did that. um, it's just disgusting.
And not
But
too long
it's
ago.
and not too long ago, less than 100 years ago. It happened in, I can't say it happened in our lifetime really, but you know what I mean. It's, our grandparents
Collective
were,
memory.
yeah, our grandparents were our age when that shit was going on, and it's just like, what the fuck? Actually, they would have been younger maybe. But anyway, still terrible. But The Zone of Interest is just incredible. Like it focuses on Rudolf Hoss or Hess, or I can't pronounce his name because it has that umlaut thing over the O, and I'm terrible. But he was one of the SS commandants that was posted at Auschwitz, and he was kind of in the upper echelon in terms of being a mastermind or someone in charge of a lot of the stuff that they did in the concentration camps. And this focuses on his family and the time when they were living next door to Auschwitz. And they have this beautiful house and this beautiful garden with a pool. And the way this movie uses sound to just really tell you everything you need to know. Like, they'll just be in the garden. Like, there's this, scenes where, like, they'll be in the garden, the wife and her mother she's visiting, and she's showing her all the flowers and stuff, and you can hear like gunshots and crying and barking dogs. You can see the plume of the train bringing prisoners in on the horizon. Like, it's just insane. People need to watch it, and the ending, like, out of nowhere, just made me cry. Like, they did something that was really powerful. I'm not going to spoil what it is because I really loved not knowing what they were going to do, because I thought they were going to go down one route that movies have done before. But then they did that, but then they also kind of did something else to kind of elevate it, and it just really, I just started crying. It was amazing. Anyway, The Zone of Interest. Please watch it. The next movie I watched, also super tragic, also based on real events, and that is Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, I finally sat down for the 3.5 hours, although I decided to put it on last night when I was really, really tired, and I thought I could make it through until 11 o'clock, and when it would have finished, and nope, I switched it off with an hour to go, so I had to finish it this morning. But the joys of streaming services, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, I finally watched that, and yeah, it's a really, really good movie. It probably doesn't need to be 3.5 hours long, especially because there are certain things that they tell you about, like things that happen off screen, but then they show you it anyway, and it's like, like one or the other, Marty? What are we doing? I don't know. It was interesting.
Both.
Both. You must have both. Unless that's just like really trying to emphasize the just the apathetic nature of these white men towards the natives back then. It's just ridiculous. Have you seen it, Mike?
I know of it. I haven't sat down to watch it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's worth it's definitely worth a look. Yeah, but yeah, and it's just insane. Like it's basically about how the Osage nation in Oklahoma in the 20s they came into oil, and all of the Native Americans became insanely rich. And then the white folk decided that they wanted to take their money, and they did that by very cleverly scheming to murder all of them. So
Strategically.
yeah, they apparently they know of there's like 20 plus deaths that they are aware of that took place. But there's probably many more. It's just really, really awful. So there's a lot of death in this movie. There's like, you know, it's a lot of young people dying. There's a scene where you don't see it happen, but a child dies of whooping cough. The kid's not murdered, but it's just like, oh fuck, okay, they're taking like the children are dying too. Like that's just anyway, it's so it's really in your face kind of just yeah, relentless in the way that a lot of these, but it's paced nicely. Like it's not like there's a death every 10 minutes. It's just I was just like, "Oh my God, another one, another one." It just keeps happening and no one's doing anything about it until Molly, who is the character played by Lily Gladstone, who's going to win an Oscar tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. Because she was very, very good in it. Yeah, she goes to Washington to plead the government to come and intervene, and then yeah, the tide turns after that. But yeah, it was really, really good. Robert De Niro as well was quite good. Leo was great as always, but De Niro I think was really, really cool. So yeah, no, it was a great movie, and it was made in like partnership with the Osage Nation. Like, you know, it wasn't just Martin Scorsese going, I'm coming in as a white man, I'm gonna, you know, do the right thing. He was like, no. He read this book about it, and he's like, I he's like, I genuinely give a shit. I'm gonna come in and do it the right way. He wanted to tell their story, and
Yeah.
you know, he basically had to have a sit down with the chiefs, the elders of these you know tribes, and just be like, I want to tell your story.
The surviving members.
Yeah, I want to tell your story. Let me tell your story, and like they all collaborate together on it. And there's a substantial Native American cast in it as well. So so it's really, really powerful movie. Definitely recommend people watch it. But yeah, it is 3.5 hours long. That's that's the only caveat. But it's good. It was paced nice. I will just keep saying that it's paced very nice, so you're not bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are always happening.
Things are always happening. Yes.
Yeah. I suppose the discourse of why is a white person doing this? Is like, well, Marty has got a name, and so that means bums on seats, and an incentive for people to actually go and watch it and actually learn something, as well as being entertained. So, but you know, I'm a white person myself, so I can't really talk either. So, it's a strange conundrum.
It is a tricky one, but yeah, it's I didn't know about this either, so I'm glad to now be aware of this awful thing that happened, and it's nice that such a beautiful piece of art was able to, you know, bring that to light. Yeah, 100 years later. And then to lift the mood a bit, before we plunge it back down again, I saw Dune Part 2.
Dune.
Dune.
What you think?
I went to IMAX and I saw it. So that was great.
Jealous.
Yeah. I mean, we forked out for premium seats, which are like $60. So, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
because the movie's, it's nearly 3 hours long, so it's like a long movie, and the seats were really comfy, and like you've got leg room and room on the sides of you, so people, because you've probably been to IMAX in Melbourne, like this, they're pretty squished in,
Yeah,
the seats.
I've only been once, and
Oh, okay.
that was for Godzilla.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the 2014 one, the
yeah.
good American one when it came out.
Yeah, yeah, the good American one. Um, so Doom Part 2, I did really like it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was just nice to be back in that world, because Denis Villeneuve does such a great job of really immersing his audience in
Mm.
the environment and in excuse me, in the world that he's created, or brought to life, in this case, adapted. And just it's just because the whole aesthetic of the thing is just, it's just stunning, like from top to bottom. And the work that they put in with the costuming and the production design and the sets, and just the visual effects. Like the visual effects are incredible. Like it's, I don't know how well this movie's gonna age, but it's gonna age a lot better than some of the other stuff that we see on the big screen these days. So yeah, it was great. I mean, I think I need to go see it again, and I would like to go see it again. Because at this point, I think I like the first one more, but only just. Um, just because I was like, I had a lot of little nitpicks with this one, and so it's not like it didn't ruin the experience and it didn't take away from the film, but it just, I don't know. I think, and I watched a YouTube review not earlier today, and one of the things that they mentioned was like it. If you watch this as a one and two, like you watch one and you immediately watch two after, it actually serves number two more.
Mm.
Apparently, so I might do that before I go see number two again. Because yeah, obviously it starts like immediately where number one finished. Um, but yeah, it was great. It was great. Some of the visuals in this movie are just so fucking cool. Like I loved the black and white stuff.
Mm.
Um, just like the visual style of this like monochrome gladiator, you know, um, yeah, forgetting the Colosseum. Like that was just cool. Like the epic like crowd shots of on on the Harkonnen homeworld, and then on Arrakis as well. Like just certain things, and then like the scenes with the sandworms were great, and I like how it's a great, the movie also, the way it tackles religion, I think is really smart, really clever.
Mm.
Like sort of the fanatical versus the skeptical, and all of that. And I didn't even realize, I mean, because I haven't read the book and I haven't seen the David Lynch film. I had no idea that, and I don't know if this is isolated to Denis Dune, but the whole like the southern and the northern Fremen have different, ideologies and stuff, different beliefs. Um, you know,
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing, and I thought that was really interesting, really cool.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's sort of more in the book. It's like sometimes the book is better, but but this is more like streamlined into the aspect, and it actually favors it being two movies as well, because you get the setup in the first one, and then you can like have a deep dive of what the Fremen are sort of dealing with, like on each side of the planet, which makes sense. And the David Lynch one is basically they just put them all into one tribe, like
yeah, okay.
because like David Lynch, the Lynch one only went for 2.5 hours. So they were cramming everything all into one. So a lot of things got a lot of details, even though David Lynch's one is just constantly bombarding you with exposition and information that you need to get. Like starts off with like a Star Wars sort of crawl, but with someone speaking to camera. And it's like,
Ah.
and it's just a lot of setup, which
Mhm.
is a bit grating for a modern day audience. So if you do happen to watch it, watch out for that. But it's good in how different it is, and yeah, and I like them both. If David Lynch is like the animated version of Lord of the Rings that only did Fellowship and Two Towers, um, then the extended edition is Peter Jackson's version. So
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
them
Nice analogy.
both.
Yeah.
I get different things out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna go watch it again. But yeah, I really liked it, and yeah, it was pretty epic. And yeah, there was a few moments of just seeing it on an IMAX screen and just certain shots, and you're like, oh wow, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, very cool, very cool. Finally,
Yep.
ugh, and then yeah, we'll see Dune 3 in like 4 years.
Dune
Probably.
Messiah.
Dune Messiah.
Give it another
Yep.
7 years, I reckon.
Yeah,
But it's worth the wait, I
it'll be
reckon.
a little bit.
Then,
Yeah, well, this was worth the wait. So yeah, I think you're right.
yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait. Paul Atreides. Are you for or against him?
Oh. Um, I've been thinking a lot about him actually the past couple of days, just because
Hmm.
it's one of the problems with the movie that I kind of had. Um, and not to get too deep into a Dune 2 discussion here, but I one of my things that irked me was how things just like all the conflicts in this film seem to resolve themselves pretty quickly. I think. I don't think there's a lot of like there's conflict, yes, but there's that Paul overcomes a lot of his obstacles quite easily, I think, and I don't know how I feel about that. But then I compared it to the first movie where it's like, you know, he's the heir of this wealthy family. They're traveling to live on Arrakis. You know, they have to leave their home behind, leave their world behind. They may never return, clearly. And then, they basically get annihilated and it's awful. And so like he's been through some fucking shit. Like, he got pushed down to the ground in part one. And here it's, he's working his way up. And I kind of I do appreciate and like the character arc he goes on from the beginning where he's like, I shouldn't be the one to lead them. They should have one of their own leading them. I'm not the listen Al Gaib, I'm not this
I'm not the
Messiah.
Messiah. I'm a naughty boy.
Yeah, exactly. Like he rejects it. He doesn't want it. But they're very adamant that that's who he is. And that again with the whole religious thing, that's one of the things I adore about this movie is the way that it kind of like, how the Bene Gesserit are just, they're clearly like the Illuminati, really.
Yeah.
They're just influencing
They've manipulated
everything.
these people for thousands of years, and it's coming out of fruition. And Paul's sort of coming at odds. It's like, well, I know I'm not, but I'm on a journey that is basically revenge. So
Yeah.
the conundrum of, am I doing something that's morally objectionable, or is it helping out? I know, and I do like that sort of aspect with it, because
Yeah.
Frank Herbert
Yeah.
originally wrote Dune as a bit like a cautionary tale of someone who's so charismatic and becoming a leader can use that to manipulate like many people.
Yeah.
And this is not just like what a dictator does or anything like that. We're talking to people who we think are heroes, but what would happen if if stuff from this snowballs into something that's a lot more terrible. And that is the thing about the other Dune books, 18 books. Because this is just one stepping stone. Paul Atreides is just one stepping stone into something else. And that's why and that's why people say, oh, this is based in Star Wars. It's like, yeah, Star Wars took a lot from Dune, including Paul Atreides, who's quintessentially Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, that's the vibe. He's not. Yeah, if anyone was saying he was Luke, they're wrong. He's definitely more akin to Anakin because you see like he by the time this movie's done, he's very much. He's not really the hero. He's kind of been put in this place of like, you want me to be your messiah? Well, I guess I fucking will be.
I'm gonna have to.
I'm gonna have to. You're forcing my hand. I'm gonna do this my way then. And then I really loved. One of my favorite scenes was when he was giving his speech, in the center of the big room with all of the council and the rest of the Fremen in there, and how. Like you compare that Paul to the Paul at the start of the film, and they're almost two different people, and it was just, it was very impressive, and I thought Timothée Chalamet did a great job, of portraying that growth, even though it's not leading him down a great path, and he knows he's seen. So whether or not you believe he's the Lisan al Gaib or whatever, there's something in him that's clearly, prophetic. As he sees things.
He sees the war that could become, like the great big holy war, and he's in charge of it. It's like he doesn't want that. That's why he's sort of he's adamant he doesn't want to go to the west, the south.
Yeah, the south. Yeah, all the fanatics are. Yeah,
because he knows shit will hit fan. Because you just need one person in a cult to say he's right, and that's what pretty much happened.
That is pretty much That was Stilgar the whole movie, as it was written. It is written.
Only the true Messiah denies his divinity.
Yeah.
All right, I am the Messiah. He is the Messiah. Now, fuck off.
Of course, yeah.
I
need someone to do that. I need someone to do a Dune and
I've
Monty
seen
Python
it, and
crossover.
I was thinking it when I was watching the film.
Oh, great.
Yeah, especially that scene outside of the cave.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it. All right.
You don't get this in the Lynch's Dune.
No.
No, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right, I do plan on watching it. Now that I've seen the entirety of Denis Villeneuve's Dune, which is technically the entirety of David Lynch's Dune, even though apparently that one's closer to the book than this one is. I will watch it.
Yeah, there's liberties, but liberties for anything. All good.
All good. All right. That's the weekly watchings, which means it's now time to get into the week that was in the nerdy news.
This is the news in nerdy news. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with most S, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
All right, it is nerdy news time. And to kick things off, and unfortunately we have to get a little sad for a couple minutes, because we must pay our respects to an iconic creator of Japanese art and manga, and that is, of course, Akira Toriyama, who sadly passed away not long ago, at the age of 68, which is far too young if you ask anyone. This man was a pioneer of manga. And there are a lot of other artists that probably wouldn't exist, a lot of other shows and comics and manga that just wouldn't exist without him, I would say. So for those who don't know, not familiar with the name, um, he's the creator of Dragon Ball.
And
um
Dragon Ball
so
Z and Dragon Ball
Dragon
GT and Dragon Ball Super.
and
And,
everything, yes, he's the one that gifted us Goku and Vegeta and Gohan and just everything. And so I'm sure I can speak for both of us when I say, a big part of our growing up probably would be very different if Akira Toriyama did not exist. So yeah, I've got a lot of fond memories of watching Dragon Ball Z growing up. Um, we're very lucky to have the ability when we were kids to watch that show before we ran to school um, every day. Yeah, it was a great show. I haven't interacted with the manga, so I can't speak to it. But obviously, those characters came from his mind, from his artwork. They were his stories that he was telling. So yeah, it's just to have a part of your childhood leave us like this is just so suddenly and too young is just very, very sad. And one of the things that I really like that kind of just broke my heart a little bit further was just the outpouring of grief from so many different people. A lot of my friends, as well, were messaging me, be like, "Oh my God, can you believe it?" It's just terrible. But one of my favorite things I saw was actually, and a friend of mine shared this with me. Um, the creator of One Piece, Ichiro Oda. I'm probably saying his name wrong, so Folia, feel free to dub me with the correct pronunciation. Um, he released an incredible statement about Akira's passing, and I'm not going to read the whole thing; it's very long, but um, he said a couple of really, really nice things, and I'll just read a couple. He says, "It is too early. The hole is too big. Sadness washes over me when I think that I will never see him again." Um, for the manga artists of our generation who stood on the same stage, Toriyama's works became more and more important to me as I got closer to the same stage. I even felt being scary. But I am just happy to see the aloof man himself again because we love him on a blood level. With respect and gratitude for the creative world he has left behind, I pray for his soulful rest in peace. May heaven be the joyous world he envisioned. Um, and he also said his existence is like a big tree. Um, like it's just like he even talks about how he influenced him and
yeah.
all so many other creators. Yeah, so it's just devastating. But thank you to Akira Toriyama for blessing us with your talent and sharing your stories with the world because yeah, your legacy is gonna live on for quite some time. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Um, Mike, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah.
Any reflections?
Yeah, this hit me a little bit. Yeah, part of our childhood and part of our psyche, and everyone knows where they were when when Gohan finally became Super Saiyan 2, um, and taking down Cell.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then on with that, with like the Dragon Ball Z bridge, like fans of his over in the West. Like Dragon Ball was sort of like the first thing, one of the first things to ever be popular in the West as well. So different sides are definitely affecting. Like he definitely affected like West entertainment as well. I mean, one clear indication, and you'll probably like this because it's Marvel. Michael B. Jordan, when he was doing Killmonger, he wanted his suit to look like Vegeta.
Yeah.
Because of Vegeta's character is a character that can be sympathetic as well as just an all-out anti-hero sort of human being who came from like being the villain who sort of grew into what he is. So there's a lot of influences everywhere. Start with Dragon Ball, which is like a retelling of Journey to the West, if you know that story. The Monkey King, well, monkey magic basically. And just stories that he was aloof. Like every interview that he sort of had, he basically retconned his own canon. So when it comes to Dragon Ball, and it's just loose and happy with the story. It's like, well, it's a story. It can evolve and change. It's not just one version, and you can definitely see that with the manga and with the animation as well. There's always different things that you can sort of add and subtract, and it's your own thing, and it's your own journey with enjoying these things, like learning to understand that canon. It doesn't have to be set in stone. It can be written in grey lead, because you can always change things, and that's what
Absolutely.
sort of influences me with like Doctor Who, or even with all our other franchises that we love. It's like it can't be all like one thing. It can be multiple things, like different interpretations, and with like a narrator who's unreliable as well. There's a lot of that as well. So he will be missed, but his effect of the world will remain. And yeah, he's a big tree. Everyone remembers that big tree.
Yeah. Yep. Very, very true. Alrighty. Let's pick things up a notch now with our next item in the news, which is a lot better. We were talking, of course, last week about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action Netflix. We gave our review, our discussion on that.
Yeah,
so
we
if
ripped
you
it
wanna...
to shreds. We don't want to see it ever again.
Michael, I got some bad news for you then.
Oh, what?
What?
I'm intrigued. What?
So this week, it was confirmed that not only is Avatar: The Last Airbender coming back for a second season, it is coming back for a second and a third, so they can complete the story. So they're gonna do the whole thing in 3 seasons, just as the original did, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy, I will say, because I enjoyed the Netflix adaptation for what it was. It's a broad strokes version of Last Airbender, and that's fine. We talked about it last week. I'm not going to go again into my thoughts, but go check out the podcast from last week. So I'm just glad that they're getting the opportunity to continue telling it, and they get to finish it the way that they want to finish it. And to see certain characters, we're going to get to see Toph now come in,
Yay.
which is great. We're going to get to see Zuko's journey from where he is now to where he ends up. So there's going to be a lot of really good things that we're going to get to see, and I'm super excited to see it. I recommend also watching the there's a video of how the cast found out.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Mike. Yeah. So yeah, Daniel Day Kim had the honors of telling everyone that they were getting 2 more seasons, and he did it in a beautiful fake out way of like, no, we're not coming back for a second season, and then he's like, but we're coming back for a second and a third, and it was just it was great. See everyone's faces, it was just beautiful. So I recommend checking that out.
like, damn, we're going out like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes. Before I throw to you, Mike, Fulia has a brief comment, and all she says is that she is very happy by this news. So that's good. That's good. Thank you for you. I'm glad you're happy too. Mike, how are you feeling about this? Does this make you happy?
Good. Fix it. They have multiple opportunities to fix what they've done. But no, it's actually probably beneficial instead of like waiting. Oh, they're going to do a third one. It's more beneficial to do this so they can work on two series at the same time, so they know where the cutoff point is. So, like the first one, definitely feels like, well, we're not too sure how long this is going to be, so let's chuck in everything, including the Fire Nation and what the Aang Gang was doing. Team Avatar, that's it. So maybe it'll be more streamlined and more more good. I don't know what to
More
say.
good.
More good.
No,
I want
no.
it more good.
I want it more good, please. That's my
Please,
my tip.
please,
That's
more
my
good.
note. Please more good.
I don't know what, but more good. So
I love that.
yeah, I'm more than happy. I'll watch. I'll watch these, and unless they really, really egregiously ruin Toph for me, because she's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, yeah, Toph is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fingers crossed for Toph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. Would you hire a blind person for this? Because if they're doing martial arts, I don't know.
Look, as long as they cast racially accurately, which they have been doing so far, I think that's the important thing. If they can get someone that's not totally blind, maybe vision impaired, maybe that's the middle ground. But I mean, I can't speak for anyone, obviously, but personally, if they do it the way that they did Donnie Yen in Rogue One, that's fine. Yeah. But it's tricky. So I have no opinion on this.
No.
That's it. Yeah. Good luck to them. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Good luck to the casting department.
Well, it's kind of like the double amputee in Kingsman, the first one, where they were trying to find someone who can do that, and it was too difficult to find, so they had to compromise and just take the backlash on the chin, basically. It's like, well, sometimes things can't fruition. I mean, if you're going to do if you're going to do the theory of everything with Stephen Hawking's biopic, he doesn't start off in the wheelchair. He does progress into that, so you need to cater for that. So, but Toph is different. That she was born blind. So,
yes,
interesting, but more than happy to watch it.
Interesting indeed. Good. I'm glad. Alrighty, we've got one more thing in the news to touch on before we move on, and that is the announcement of the BAFTA Game Awards. The nominees were announced this week, and no surprise to anyone, Baldur's Gate 3 is leading the pack. 10 nominations, including Best Game. Followed by, of course, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. They have 9 nominations, plural. Alan Wake 2 has 8, and Tears of the Kingdom, and also Star Wars Jedi Survivor. They both got 6 nominations each. So, very, very good. Let's see if I can find a rundown of Game of the Year. I don't know if Game of the Year and Best Game are the same, but anyway, Best Game, I don't think that's the award. So you got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Dave the Diver, which should make Fulia happy, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3.
They are the,
Anyway.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win. Baldur's Gate 3 is going to sweep. It's been sweeping every award ceremony it's been involved in, since it came out. So, yeah, I think you're right. I'm just looking at the other nominations just to see if there's anything else worth mentioning. There's a player's choice one where the public gets to vote. Interesting.
Spider-Man 2 then.
Yeah, probably.
Make those sooks happy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's
Um,
Spider-Man. I never even heard of
Spider-Man.
Baldur's Gate 3. So that means it's dumb.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's exciting for, all these games to get recognized. I mean, Final Fantasy is in there as well. Um, Assassin's Creed, Mirage. Um, yeah, good stuff. Mike, do you have any thoughts on the BAFTA Game Awards?
No. I didn't know the BAFTAs actually did that.
I think it's a new thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I think they did it last year, but I don't remember anything beyond that.
I think, recognition for gaming is always good. Doesn't have to be just for like diehard gaming nuts. It can be it can be outlook for like just normies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if the Logies can do it.
Do a game awards. That'd be cool.
Or the actors.
The actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably too niche for us. Anyway.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's move on then. That's the nerdy news done, which means it's time to roll on up to the trailer park.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers. Hee-ha.
Okay, it's trailer park time, and our first cab off the rank this week is our second look at the upcoming Amazon Prime series, Fallout. Speaking of video games, this is obviously a adaptation of the very popular game series. I'm in. I'm keen. This looks good. I was interested from the first trailer. That was a nice little tease. This one has me more intrigued. I love a good post-apocalyptic landscape, environment, and world, and how there's clearly people living down in the vaults, as they're putting it. And I always wonder what the vaults referred to, because I have friends that are super into Fallout, so I recognize some of this stuff.
Secondhand knowledge,
yes. And there's people living on the surface, and they're not so nice. And I'm mostly just here for Walton Goggins and whatever he's doing, because I think he's brilliant.
As the girl.
I've been a fan of his since Sons of Anarchy, and man, he just every time I see him on screen, he just turns in a great performance. And now he's playing someone who's clearly been through the ringer. That's exciting to see. And I'm excited to get into a new world and a new mythos and a new kind of IP, I suppose. So this could be a cool gateway into that. I hope it continues the trend of good game adaptations we've been getting lately. So hopefully it's a good one. The only thing that gives me pause is that they're putting all the episodes out on the one day. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll find out.
Which is interesting for Amazon.
I know. That's what I mean. They usually drop, here's your first 3 and then the rest week to week, and not this time. Not this time.
Maybe
all of it
they're
at once.
worried.
I know, which makes me worry, and I don't like it. Anyway. What did you make of this, Mike? What did you think?
I'm much like this trailer than the first one, and it's got me hyped for it. Because the Fallout is very tongue-in-cheek on the way they present themselves. More or less like a morbid satire, and the the ghoul is a very interesting character. Like, you get to see these sort of people, quote unquote people, throughout the game. But I won't divulge any more than that, because I think it would be a very interesting thing to find out. As well as the differences between vault dwellers as well as people on the surface, and how they live their lives. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this now, because there's a lot of people in it that I actually quite like Kyle MacLachlan's in it as well. Yep, he's like the leader of the vault that the main character is coming from. And also Chris Parnell as a Cyclops. So there you go. So I can't wait to.
Why not?
Yeah, can't wait to hear Jerry again in real life. Yeah. So I can't wait for. You know what? And they put the song "Don't Want to Set the World on Fire," which is a main state for the Fallout games. Like, especially for Fallout 3, like that trailer of the game, like, coming out. So I think they're going to mix a lot of Fallout 3 and 4 at the same time. And hopefully a bit more New Vegas as well. Like, a lot of people, there is like a discourse within the Fallout community of which one's better, Fallout 3 or New Vegas. And I'm sort of siding with New Vegas, all because Matthew Perry's in it.
Oh,
Because he was a big fan of the Fallout games, and said, "Hey, you want to be in it?" Sure. So maybe there's going to be a cameo of that. I don't know. I'm just going to put the thing in here, like his character is going to be maybe an Easter egg, like mentioning his character. Who knows?
oh, that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Hmm.
Oh, bless.
So,
Very nice.
so when is this all going to be dropped on us, Kendall?
Yes, well, Fallout will be dropped all at once, as I did say, very soon on the 11th of April. So it's a month away.
Too soon.
Too soon.
No, it's too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon. Okay, next trailer. Also a second look for this one. This is, but the first, I guess, full trailer, I suppose.
Story trailer.
Story trailer for Inside Out 2. Yeah, no, I was probably gonna watch this anyway because I've seen the original, and I enjoyed the original. I thought it was a great movie. You know, one of the big notable ones I think of Pixar's work in the last 10 years. So it's cool to see this movie get a sequel. It doesn't need one, but of course it's Disney, so they're gonna just give you one anyway. And yeah, and you know, now we're tackling puberty. Riley's going through puberty, so we're getting all these new emotions, and we only had one of them teased in the last trailer, which was anxiety, and now we've got a plethora of new emotions to deal with. And I love the humor in this. Just like the whole thing about, you know, we're suppressed emotions, you know, like
Bottled up emotions.
yeah, it just tickled me quite a bit. But my favorite moment in this trailer that really cinched it for me was at the end when they get to the sarcasm.
Yeah.
I fucking died. I thought that was gold. The fact that she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad we found you guys," and then because of the sarcasm, by the time it hits the construction workers on the other side, they just hear it with a sarcastic tone over it. And man, did that have me in stitches. I thought that was so funny, so clever, so witty. I'm like, yes, Disney, you've still got it.
Well, Pixar.
Pixar, I should really say. Pixar. Yeah, but that was great. So yeah, I'm really keen to check this one out when it comes out. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
It looks solid. It looks solid. It wasn't a great trailer overall, I will say. It was fine. But just in terms of the movie itself, I think it's going to be a good one. So, hype is starting. What about you, Mike? Actually, before I say, I should just mention Fulia's brief comment. Sorry, she had a little comment. She just says, "Yep, I am all in for this movie." Good. Of course she is. Of course, we love it.
But notice she didn't say anything about Fallout.
She had nothing to say about Fallout. Fulia.
Nothing. You have nothing to say.
Nothing. Nothing to say.
Anyway.
Anyway, it's fine. Yes, I'm glad Fulia's in for Inside Out too. That's excellent. Mike, are you in for Inside Out too?
Very, very looking forward to this because I really enjoyed the first one, and probably the first Pixar movie that I actually cried at. Really, just it just hit me in a way because I'm trying to think. It came out not too long before my first child, so it definitely is definitely as sort of looking into I'm going to be changing my outlook on movies now. It's like, can I introduce this to a younger generation, right? And definitely, I've definitely shown Inside Out to my daughter, and yeah, it's a very good learning curve for children to learn about emotions, and it's okay to feel emotions and different like that. And now they're sort of upping the ante of Riley actually growing up, and they sort of teased it at the end of like they're getting a new emotions are more what's the word? More technological, more
complex.
More complex.
They're advancing.
Because of the bigger keyboard thing that they have. Like we first see it, it's only one button. For a baby, it's like that's kind of cool, and it's all about memory and all that, and this is just what a child is going through puberty, where everything is going nuts, and dare I say, it may be a little bit of a I don't know, maybe you can see what I can see about Riley, like learning, like seeing like new friends, and you need to be in this sort of it crowd. But maybe I'm reading too much into this, but maybe Riley is learning about sexuality as well, because
I kind of got that vibe too, just the way that her eyes focused in on that chick. I was like, oh, is this movie doing this? And then it went into like the be one of the popular girls sort of stick, and I was like, oh no, but I think there's something there, and it's Disney being Disney.
Subtext. I think
Subtext.
And also it's a trailer as well, so they don't want to give like too much away.
Too much away.
But
I guess,
maybe because they've sort
That'd
of
be
already
huge.
done like an allegory for puberty with turning red.
Yeah,
And
very much.
And if me knowing Pixar, and they definitely want to push like the envelope, and there's a couple of like shorts that they've done of actually dealing with like difference of sexuality, like Out. If you've seen that, if you've seen that short,
That was beautiful.
So maybe if the time is right, maybe they're dealing with children and learning about themselves more intimately. I'm more than happy for this to happen, because
Me too.
I think it's time to do those stories in a Pixar way.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I couldn't agree more.
Because when they said, "Oh, he'd be one of the popular kids," it's like the way they did it. It's definitely grabbing audio from a different aspect, I think I'm thinking, and this is just a cis white man just going.
Yeah.
My gaydar is tinging.
Yeah, but I love that even as a cisgendered white man, you still picked up on that. And me as, a cisgendered bisexual woman, yes, I also picked up on that. So, we're seeing what they're putting down, Mike, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I haven't really went into the discourse of people talking about this trailer or anything like that, but this is what I've seen, and I'm all for that because she's an only child who plays hockey. Not to stereotype, but you know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah. So when is this coming out?
Well, Inside Out 2 will be coming out on the 13th of June.
We can only hope coming out.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. All right. Last trailer for this week is something completely different.
Hey.
This is a documentary by the name of Steve Martin, a documentary in 2 pieces. Yes, so this is yes, obviously, as it is what it says on the tin. It's a doco about Steve Martin. And yeah, it's gonna be taking us through his life, his career, from his beginnings to now. And there's a lot of footage of him from his early days in here that I've never seen before, and a lot of his stand-up stuff, obviously, and then through to his movie and TV work. So it's just yeah, and then just hearing him talk about how like that hit me at the end when he was like, I've done life in reverse. I had anxiety in my 30s, and now I'm 75 and I'm the happiest I've ever been, basically, what he was saying. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's just
something to strive for.
Yeah, we can only hope we're that content when we're that old, yeah, so yeah, I can't wait to watch this. It's a no-brainer for me. I groaned at the fact that it's on Apple TV Plus, because I said when I'd watched Killers of the Flower Moon, I was going to cancel my Apple TV Plus subscription and until they bring back For All Mankind next year, I think, now, because they just finished their season. But like, I need to save money. Now Steve Martin's making me spend more money. I don't know. It's probably going to be worth it. Apple's not that expensive.
Apples aren't
Anyway,
that expensive.
I digress. Apple's not that expensive. But anyway, yeah, it looks great. It looks really great. Yeah, I'm very excited to watch this and learn a bit more about this man that I've grown up watching on the big screen, on the small screen, and just laughing my ass off along the way. So yeah, this is going to be a good one, I reckon. Fulia, of course, big fan of Steve Martin. She's left us with a brief thought here. She says, yeah, I'm ready to learn more about this legend. I've started listening to his audiobook. I've been watching a lot of his content. He's amazing and funny, and I adore him. Oh, Fulia, so sweet. Thank you very much for adding that. Mike, what do you reckon? You gonna check this out if you can?
Definitely. In some way. Not divulging. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this because yeah, he was a very prolific stand-up, which he sort of trying to break the mold of what it was like being a comedian, like during the 70s. Like he was doing a lot of bizarre, weird, artistic sort of style and just out of the ordinary, and you can see like one person who said that Steve Martin was an influence was Bo Burnham, and the way he sort of took the genre of comedy and sort of changed it in a way that actually is quite different and unique. It's not just, I'm just telling you jokes with a microphone in hand. It's more to do with the art of it, and the style and the grace, and Steve sort of when he got his full, he sort of really stopped being a stand-up comedian, because he didn't know where to go with it. So he decided to do something else. He decided to go into movies, because that's what the next thing is. And then he did like some great films like the Three Amigos and all them, including the Man with two brains and all these different sort of things. And he also did the family ones, like obviously Cheaper by the Dozen and the Pink Panther series, the two movies that he did. And then he sort of said, okay, I've done the thing, I'll do another thing. I'll just do live music, and I'll do that for a bit until he decided to team up with Martin Short and do like an evening with like Martin Short and Steve Martin. And then that sort of led into the show that me and Fulia are really keen on. Murders only happen in buildings and stuff. Yeah, and he said after that, it's like, I think I'll retire after the show. It's like, yeah, you can do what you want. He's a unique human being in the way that he does entertainment. He's a very auteur style of comedian, and yeah, and it's great that there's two parts of it. So there's going to be a lot of things to cover, because a career that spans over the 70s. So we're dealing with like 50 years of him just doing stuff. Can't wait. So
Yep.
So when is this going to fall off the apple cart?
Well, Steve Martin, a documentary in 2 pieces, will be streaming on Apple TV Plus on the 29th of March. So it's only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Alrighty. That's Trailer Park done. We're rolling on out, and that means it's time to start our engines for a quickie review.
Oh, you asked me that to do. Okay, hold on for a second. Burp. Wait for me. There we go. Okay, I remember it from now.
Quickie review.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
Professional. I am professional.
You are professional, yes. Alright, quickie review. So, we are going to be discussing our thoughts on the latest episode of The Bad Batch this week, which is episode 5 of season 3, and it is called The Return. Yeah, so my thoughts first. Just overall, I thought it was another really good episode. I really liked it. I liked how, we get to see the progression of, the conflict and the resolution between the Batch, and just to see everyone reunited again. Like the fact that Echo is in this episode as well was just great. It was so nice to see him again, but it also made me sad because there's that one moment where they mention Tech, and you just see their faces as they're sitting around that table, and it's just like, oh god, because like they're all there except for him, and it's just far out. It's
Maybe he is
it's
gone.
sad. Maybe he is. I don't know. I shouldn't hold on to hope. It's foolish. But yeah, so that was nice. They brought Echo back for this, and yeah, I really liked how, Crosshair and Hunter got to work through their stuff. By the end of the episode, they'd come to terms with the things that they'd come to terms with the things that they'd done, and how, they just have to accept it and move on and go back to being brothers again, and finding that trust in each other again.
Rekka didn't really take much convincing, but it's Rekka.
No, it's Rekka. Hey, I wasn't surprised, and I kind of called it like last week, or I think it was last week when I feel like one of them was going to be like, oh well, if Omega trusts him, then surely he's fine. So I'm not surprised Rekka went down that route. I thought that was good. Yeah, and then I one of the other things I really appreciated this episode was not only did they go back to that, I called it the Minas Tirith planet on the island. Like they went back there, like where they're supposed to be based from the end of season 2. So I'm like, that was cool to see that. But then the fact that, and I didn't even twig until we got there, of course. But like the fact that Crosshair was like, I know of a base that's that should be no problem to get to get an Imperial power source so we can fire up this tablet and figure out what some more intel, blah blah blah. Like when we get there and it was the fucking planet from that episode in season 2 where everything changed to him. Fuck, man, that just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like that was great. The fact that he's like we're going back there, and you see those shots of him like just looking at the bird and what kind of effect that has on him, and seeing that Hunter sees that moment of him picking up the helmets and sitting them up respectfully, and it's just and the cogs are turning in him. He's like, what's going on here, what's this about? And obviously Crosshair doesn't say too much, but he says enough, and it's just wow. Crosshair's becoming my favorite character. I don't know what to say. They've done such a good job with his character in this show, and I'm so glad that that's continuing into the final season. So, yeah. No, I love this episode. I thought it was great. I really liked it. I don't really have too much else to say, so I will just read Folia's comment out, because she has a couple of paragraphs, so let's dive in. Folia says, this episode had me feeling things. Yes. Crosshair and Hunter have some stuff to work out, including regaining each other's trust. The awkward moments between them were clearly hurting Omega. The one thing that surprised me was when Hunter decided to pair up with Crosshair during the mission in this episode. It was a situation where Hunter just couldn't trust him because he thought Crosshair was hiding something. The only thing Crosshair was really hiding was his emotions and how he felt about the Empire. You can also see his worry when he has trouble with shooting his rifle. Crosshair no longer feels like he's the greatest marksman anymore, so his confidence is pretty low. But I'm so glad that they are back together again because I miss seeing Crosshair with the group, and a nice added surprise to have Echo join them on this mission as well. I just wish Tech was around too. Aww. Although, I do have this gut feeling that he might end up popping up in the penultimate episode and we will get a short recap of how he survived, fingers and toes crossed, but not that hopeful, she says. Yeah, I'm with you, Folia. Yes, it would be nice, wouldn't it? But not holding on to hope. Yes. All right, Michael, hit us. What did you make of the return?
I definitely enjoy this episode, and I'm definitely enjoying these episodes like with story beats that just it's like, okay, we get this and we're doing this now, and it was good. It took they took the time actually doing it in one episode of the sort of redemption as well as the hashing out different things, like not necessarily like proving to Hunter that Crosshair is on the up and up. Even Crosshair like threw it back at him as well, and I really enjoyed that thing as well. It's like, well, you didn't do shit. Omega did everything, and you're just annoyed that she was doing it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the character arc with Crosshair is definitely more fleshed out and more like and just more meaty to actually sink your teeth in. Like I don't think I don't think, because it's probably going to be too late with any of the others. They sort of did the same. They sort of did like bits and pieces with tech from the last season, but unfortunately, it sort of came to pass as like, well, he's learning to be human, and then he did the ultimate sacrifice. So therefore, I don't think he's coming back. I think it's more impactful if he doesn't come back. I'm sorry for the entire Kendall.
I know, you're right. You're right.
Storytelling is always good, but it's Star Wars, and no one really stays dead.
True.
I don't know. Star Wars needs to do that thing. Really good that you return to a place that is familiar but different, because there's more snow cover, and you can tell there's plenty of like months like in between both. So yeah. There was one particular thing that I actually really enjoyed, and it doesn't happen all too often with like animated shows, because the main thing with animated shows is just very dialogue and action heavy. Sometimes they like in this show they did something that I thought that was so great. It was like watching live action, where they actually like you sat with a character's face and actually you say a lot more without words, and they did that thing with like Crosshair and Hunter, and how you can tell that they did not want to like in a way reconcile. They wanted to just stay where they were, and by the end, yeah, they buried the hatchet, and in more ways than one, and yeah. And I'm glad it didn't lead to bloodshed, like like Echo said.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe out of all the episodes that we've seen, this is probably one that we had to have, but the least essential, really. Like. It's a bit of a weird one. It's sort of a sat down bottle episode of just sitting down and talking, and dealing with a sandworm in the snow, which is kind of fitting for this week.
Yeah, I did have that thought as well. I'm like, ooh, it's Dune in the snow.
Dune in the snow.
Dune in the snow.
Arrakis has snow on it.
Yep, Snowrakis. Snowrakis.
Dune Patrol.
Outstanding.
Thank you. And with that, I'm done.
And we're done. Yeah. Great. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, yeah, that should do it, I suppose, for our thoughts on the Bad Batch, the return. Looking forward to more to come this week. Now that they've got the whatever bits of intel they could gather, where do we go from here? What's gonna happen? It's exciting times. Alrighty. Speaking of exciting,
yes,
it's time
for
the moment.
Ooh.
The section.
Yes.
The segmente. The part, the place, the spot, that thing in the show we like to call
Talking Who. Popcorn culture. Doctor Who.
Yes, it is popcorn culture time. We're talking Who this week. Talking Who. With Fulia absent, Mike and I will get back to our watching of Doctor Who, which brings us now to season 5, episodes 8 and 9, the two-parter, The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. So I'm really excited to talk about this, because I feel like you're going to give some really cool insights on this, about the Silurians, because I believe they originated in classic Who.
They did.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to diving in to that with you as well. But yeah, as for my overall thoughts on the two-parter, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Well, not a simple story, but like, a story we've kind of seen done before. But I liked the twist of, because I didn't know what the Homo reptilius were, or the Silurians. The fact that they inhabited Earth before humans did. I thought that was really interesting. They weren't just aliens. So I think I like that kind of subversion of expectation. That was fun. But no, it was good. And our mate Chris Chibnall, striking again.
Shrapnel!
But I thought it was fine. I like the fact that it was set in a little village in Wales, with a name that I can't pronounce. I'm not going to try.
Just make sure you've got plenty of phlegm in your throat.
Yes. I thought, the characters in this were really good. And the fucking makeup job on the Silurians is just incredible. I really like that. And I, for all my criticisms of the Doctor so far, I really enjoyed him in this two-parter. It felt like, it's been a minute since we've watched some Doctor Who and talked about it on this podcast, but I mean, for me, it felt like, I'm like, okay, this is very much the Doctor. I thought it was a really good showing of him, in his element, doing what he does best. And I really liked there was a line in episode 1, or part 1, where, the kid's asking him about monsters and stuff, and he says something like, "Are they scary?" And the Doctor's like, "No, the monsters are scared of me." I thought that was kind of cool. So I enjoyed this for what it was. It didn't blow my socks off, but I wasn't bored, and I didn't really have a lot of criticisms, really, other than the fact that, there's, the story's very cliche in a lot of parts, but it's sci-fi. There's going to be cliches.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some feelings.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me those feelings, Mike. What was it like rewatching this two-parter for yourself?
Well, it's a reintroduction to a classic monster for Doctor Who, because the Silurians have harkened back ever since the 70s, and called Doctor Who and the Silurians, which with John Pertwee as the Doctor. It was like the final episode of one of the series. I want to say season 9 or something like that. And the story with that is basically beat for beat these 2 episodes.
Oh,
indeed. But
okay.
it had the added bonus of having Unit at the same time. Yeah, so, and...
That would have been cool.
Yeah, but with a bit of a different ending. So, having said that. So, as New Who was bound to do, doing like a revamped version of the villains. Like we've done the Daleks, and we've done the Cybermen, and we've done Sontarans by now. Roughly same, but still like adaptation. Like the Silurians was definitely the quintessential like man in rubber mask and everything. So they check. So the sort of face covering that they have is sort of an homage to that, where they had.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. And they took off the mask, and it was more, instead of a rubber mask, it was a prosthetic mask, or prosthetic makeup, which cool, awesome. I still like more of the alien sort of look. Like the original Silurians actually had a third eye. Which they used to hurt people with, so instead of like the licky tongue,
right.
So it was very different, but there hasn't been really any like explanation on why they look different. So
right,
it's weird. So I think they sort of covered that. Oh no, that was a certain species subsect of Silurians, and this is a different one.
That's why they name dropped that. Because there was a moment where the Doctor was telling them about how there was another part of their species that lived, but then the humans attacked and killed them all.
That was the story.
Yeah. Okay.
So essentially, at the end, the Brigadier. The Brigadier, Kate Stewart's father, Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, may he rest in peace. Because actually no, spoiler for that. Anyway,
fine.
Anyway, you'll find out.
Anyway,
So at the end, he was in. The Brigadier was in two sides, where all the stories with like the Silurians of trying to come with a peace offering treaty, as like what they did in this episode, but the Brigadier is also part of like the regiment, and also up top is saying, well, we need to get rid of this, threat, because they're taking people when they're killing them. And it's like, well, we do not negotiate with terrorists, let alone people that actually used to live on this planet. So there's a lot of that. And by the end, the Brigadier decided, well, I need to be, queen in country, and just basically do a genocide. And whatever happened after that, they don't come back until the Fifth Doctor, and even that's in the huge far future.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then we learn the Sea Devils as well as the Silurians are cousins. So there you go. So, that didn't really come up with the Sea Devils episode.
No.
Yeah. So anyway. So I did enjoy Matt Smith in this, like him like interrogating the Silurian captive was definitely a Doctor Who scene of him being the Doctor Who. You can see of years and centuries like dealing with this and being programmatic and just him like just biting back a lot of like venom of I'm the last of my species. It's like
I loved that.
Shut the fuck up. I know.
Yeah, I love how like there was that line where he said something like, I would feel it in your heart or whatever. Don't insult me. Like I loved that delivery was great. And then how he just kind of went straight back into like let's try this again. What's your name? Like, just
Hmm.
yeah. It was a really great scene.
That was a very, very Doctor Who scene that
Yeah.
we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and by the end of it, it's a bit weird that everything sort of left to nothing, really. Like, the sole reason why the Silurians attacked was because of the drill.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end, they tried to do like the sort of diplomatic peace offerings, like, we're going to give you Australia. It's like, okay.
Thanks.
Probably wouldn't work. Anyway, but then they decided to, like, you know what, we'll just chuck you in the ice for another 1,000 years and let future humans deal with you. It's like, thanks, Chibnall, for not doing a real story of anything really of substance. And thank you for giving us the ticking clock again. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, flash in the pan. Could have been good.
Yeah.
But anyway, by Silurians.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
yeah, I was just gonna say the 1,000-year thing at the end is sort of like a Deus Ex Machina. Let's just wrap that up. Put it away.
We'll leave that for
Easy solve.
We'll leave that to a future storyteller to unpick that. It's like,
Yeah.
thank you. They haven't come back.
Thanks. I haven't? Okay. Good.
Well, Silurians as a tribe do not come back.
Right.
One does.
Sure.
Yeah, spoilers. Anyway.
Spoilers, sweetie.
Yeah. So, shall we talk about companions and doing stuff?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of questions. Okay, well, I mean, look, I love Rory so much. Rory's just the best. Rory is, he's got a heart of gold, and Amy doesn't deserve him. But I'm coming around on Amy. I am. I thought she was all right in these episodes. She can kind of, she's getting to a point now where she can kind of fend for herself, sort of thing. Like, she was able to, easily escape from the thing when she stole the doctor's little pad thing that unlocked them. And so she's becoming a little self-sufficient as a companion now, I would say. So that's cool. Yeah, but no, I kind of, the story of the two of them this episode, I mean, they spend most of the two-parter like apart from each other, which is fine. But I was not knowing where they end up. I already know where they end up. I know what happens to them because the internet exists and I've been on it.
And this is Doctor Who, where
this is Doctor Who, and and this happened like 10 years ago, so it's fine.
Actually, no, it happened 4 years ago.
Yeah, this episode happened 4 years ago. But yeah, so
in the middle of COVID.
Yeah. Very funny. Yes, but anywho, the fact that we get this thing at the start where like they're seeing themselves off in the distance, waving at them, and then by the end of the episode, obviously it's just Amy waving.
Yeah.
That was an interesting setup, and I just have so many questions because I know Rory comes back somehow. So I'm really, really curious, but the fact that they, like, just in the last minute of this episode, they shove in the crack in time, the crack in the wall again, and and then Rory, sacrifices himself to save the Doctor. Rory, like Rory's just great. But I'm like, oh, I'm trying not to get emotional because he's not. I know he comes back, but but it was still really good, and I thought Karen Gillan was quite fantastic in those moments of when they're in the TARDIS and
Yeah.
she's losing it because she's lost him, and the way she responds, and then the fact that she realizes I'm gonna forget him because the light is taking him away, basically. And I really love that just as a concept of like this ominous white light having the ability to erase you from ever having existed.
Yeah.
I kind of really like that. So so the fact that Amy's struggling to hold on and the Doctor's telling her to hold on to memory of him so he won't truly ever go away, but of course even though that they're time travels, they still forget. The Doctor forgets though, right? Because there was a couple of moments when I was like, he's looking at her. I think he knows, but but at the same time, I don't think he does because he's just not exempt from this rule, right?
Well, it's Stephen Moffat we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Doctor is like, God and awesome, and he knows everything. So maybe he's doing a thing where like Donna and don't remember, or else
Just
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just not saying anything because
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
You do though.
Or do I? Or I can't remember.
Well, we'll get there.
Yes.
Yes, but yeah, no, I kind of, I'm so curious as to where it's going because, like, yeah, how's he gonna come back? How are they gonna save him? And how's that all gonna play out? But I really kind of like how that sort of it ended the episode on a somber note. Like, we see the family at the core of this story that are trying to do everything that they can to make sure that they all get out safely and they don't lose anyone. Then of course, they end up technically losing the grandfather, at the end there. But it's bittersweet. But and then Rory just up and dies and it gets forgotten. So it's just like, oh fuck, all right. Some real world consequences to this one. Yeah, but no. Yeah, what about you, Mike? What about how did you? I know you know where it all goes, but like
Yeah. But trying to think back what people were thinking. Well, the first fake out was like Amy going through the ground and not knowing what happened to her or anything like that. Like you got that fake death, but then the sudden twist of now Rory's gone and supposedly dead. Then you're more intrigued. It's like, well, what's going on? And we're finding out that the the crack in the wall is basically no, that's a spoiler. Yeah, the Doctor pulls a bit of the TARDIS out.
Yeah. The Doctor pulls a bit of the TARDIS out. That was an interesting little cliffhanger.
And not knowing, it was like, what's going on?
What's happening? So, can I just add quickly? They just killed off Rory, like, what, 2 episodes ago, and now they're killing him again.
Yeah.
That's a bit interesting. I don't know how I feel about that.
Get used to it.
Cannon fodder.
Yeah. So, nah, we don't need him. We just need Amy Pond in a short skirt.
No, but she's dressed for Rio, Mike. Don't you know?
Yeah, and the Doctor is in a tweed jacket and Rory's in a puffer jacket.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Oh,
anyway.
Lord. Anyway.
It's alright. We got a bit of skirt on. fine. Yeah. Whatevs.
Whatever. It was the early 2010s. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And in 10 years, they get to see each other wave. Yeah. How well do you know the ending for Rory and Amy?
Well, I know it has to do with the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
So, but I have questions because you know, from what I understand, Weeping Angels at this point to be, even though this kind of got undone a little bit by the last outing we saw with the Weeping Angels, you know, they kill you by stealing your time and sending you back.
Yes.
Right.
It's the main thing.
So, yes, this is set in 2020. So if anything, that tells me that the way it's going to work is that when, or at least, I mean, I don't know, I could be spitballing here for all I know, but like, they must be sending, the Weeping Angels must be sending them back. So when the point from when that episode happens in the future, it's in the future, and they get sent back, and then I don't know, that's my guess.
Yeah. Put a pin on this.
All right.
If
we'll get there
if it makes sense,
in a little while,
or it's a massive plot hole that doesn't really fruition.
See, that's what I'm worried about. I don't want it to be a plot hole because I know Stephen Moffat is Stephen Moffat, but I know he can also be pretty brilliant. So
yeah, mixed bag.
Mixed bag. Yeah, definitely mixed bag.
But then again, can't quite remember. But yeah, and Rory does disappear at the end of it. So I'm trying to remember if it is a plot hole or not. Maybe I screwed myself up. Anyway, so this is the first time, no, couple of times, Chris Chibnall is writing for Doctor Who, because before he wrote, I think, 2 for Russell T Davies, and he also did a couple of stories for Torchwood, which I haven't seen, which I should.
Yeah.
Because it's too adult for me. No, it's not. I just haven't had the opportunity all the time. Yeah, so, and we know that Chris Chibnall comes back. So there you go.
Yes, we do.
It is quite much like Doctor Who and Silurians, all the way back to 1972. So be interesting if you watch that, and watch John Pertwee as the Doctor. You know, Sean Pertwee's father.
Yes, I know. Yeah, no, I haven't really engaged with Classic Who much, of course, but yeah.
That's all right. Get classic, get New Who out over and done with, and then pick and choose,
and then go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll track some classical, not all together at the same time. Like it's like just individual episodes, because that's the best way to watch it.
Yeah, because it doesn't really do like narrative storylines, does it? Like they're just most of them are pretty much bottle stories.
Yeah. Serialized,
yeah.
in a way. It's just, you need a doctor and a companion. It's like, oh, where are we? Let's just say, Fourth Doctor and Leela. It's like, okay, which one's Leela? Cave Woman. Cool. I'm ready. And story wise, excuse me. Where to go from here?
Well, do you think there's obviously that moment where like they're all in the church and you know force fields up around them, and it's all black and stuff because they're about to pierce through the earth from below. And there's a moment where like the kid he gets away, and then the mum's all like, "But you were the last person to see him. Why didn't you make him stay?" Blah blah blah. And unless I'm misremembering, I'm just like, "Yeah, Doctor, why didn't you?"
Because plot.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things there. uh, yeah, the one with the kid. It's they make him out as like, sure, he's got dyslexia but he's well switched on, and he names drop Sherlock Holmes. So, and
Yeah, he's cool.
so surely he's switched to do that. But it's like, no, I need to get my headphones. It's like, don't be a stupid kid. No.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like they've clearly established that this kid is intelligent for his age. And then they go out of their way to show that he's also a bit silly. In this one moment that just kind of breaks it a bit for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes 8 minutes for everyone to set up a surveillance system.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, there's little itty bitty like nitpicks when it comes to this particular episode. And then it's like, it was great not knowing what was happening and what was going on until we get into the second episode, and then it sort of goes to a screeching halt. It's like, oh, okay, we're doing this again. If you've seen previous Who, and then it just leads to is there anything else? Like, is there any ramifications of this episode? Nah. It's just, yeah. It's in a way it's a big nothing.
Except for Rory.
It's Rory, but that's like in the later half. I think that's just Stephen Moffat as showrunner saying, okay, I'm just going to write the last, say, 2 pages of the script just to do the overarching narrative of what's happening in this show. And you can sort of see it with the Weeping Angels episode where all of a sudden the crack appears as like, more cracks. It's all leading to something. Make sure you watch the entire series to get the ending. If it's a good one or not. Who knows?
Hope so.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll find out. Yeah, well, I mean, one thing about this episode I did enjoy it was, and even though again it's it's a bit cliche, like the doctor asks these 3 humans to do one simple thing, and that's just be the best of humanity. Not to kill this hostage that they need to, get their hostages back.
Yeah.
And then obviously that doesn't go according to plan. And the moment he says that's it's not gonna, things are gonna go haywire. But I really did think it was gonna be Granddad that did the killing. I didn't expect it to be the mum, even though she kind of accidentally did it, and then she sort of accidentally did it, and then she just did it anyway because she was angry. But I also really like the fact that at the end, when it was revealed to everyone else that that's what happened, how even her own son turned away from her was like, "Nah, I'm not cool with this, Mum.
What the fuck,
you
Mum?
shouldn't have done that." Yeah, literally.
You doomed us all.
You doomed us all. So I really kind of like that. That kind of cliche of like, humanity can just be, because it's true. We're capable of great things. We're also capable of very terrible things and making mistakes, and then just to go along with the whole, like, it looked like they were actually coming to an agreement on terms on what to do. to have the two species coexist, and then, you know, this one woman's mistake fucks everything up. You know, so and how the Doctor explained it as like, this is a tipping point, this isn't a fixed point, like it could go either way, you know, there could be an alternate universe and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's very, very cool time travel stuff. Yeah, so I
And
kind of
also
liked those.
sort of a get out of jail free card
Yeah.
for a future writer.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, which is fine. It's okay. But no, I thought that stuff was kind of pretty well done. You know, been done before, but I thought it was done all right here. I don't know. What did you think about all of the hostage stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, with coming up to the tenure of of Matt Smith as Doctor, and how he you can definitely see like now the reason why he's so quick to anger when it comes to humans. It's like, I just asked you to do one thing,
One thing.
bloody humans, fine. It's like, I'm gonna have to save everyone, and yeah, which makes sense because he doesn't want to be like dictating what's going to happen. He just wants to do that. And this definitely, just thinking about it, it definitely lays the seed of a future episode later on, not with Matt Smith, but with Peter